All right, today, Ames, I know you're feeling a little under the weather.
Hence the pajamas.
Yeah, you just didn't feel like it. But anyway.
And the thermometer.
So today we're going to talk about the different ideologies that are going on. What do you think?
Okay, I guess I don't have a choice.
Stay tuned.
This is the Unexpected Podcast.
All right, well, this is how we know we've made it to the big time.
How?
Well, when you're sick and you know the show must go on, and you rally yourself with some Sudafed and all kinds of medicine, and you show up to the microphone.
You're doing great. I'm proud of you.
I may be a little dizzy. My mind may be a little bit foggy.
This was going to be fun.
And that's why you should have brought a really, low-key topic.
No, I went deep.
Yeah. Okay.
This is low-key. It's kind of low-key. We're just going to touch the surface of it.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to talk about some of the differences. We're not going to go real deep in it, but socialism, communism, capitalism, and what does the Bible say?
All the isms.
All the isms.
Okay.
We're going to try. There's no guarantee that we're going to execute this properly.
That's why we invite audience input.
Absolutely. You guys leave some comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and keep us going. So, from a biblical standpoint, there's some confusion.
Yeah.
Some people are saying that biblical principles support socialism somewhat.
Right.
So there's a whole topic of that. So let's just give a quick definition, and this is just an overall view of what it is. So socialism is about collective ownership of production, aiming for equality through shared resources. That sounds great if it ever did work.
Sure.
But history says it's never worked.
Right.
Because people are selfish.
Correct.
Let's just move on to communism. Communism is a step further. Okay, goes a little bit deeper. No private property, classless society, meaning there's no upper class, lower class, middle class, anything, but everybody's on an even playing field in oppression. I added the oppression part. That's not part of the definition.
I knew you did, but I'm in agreement.
Everyone contributes and gets what they need, but nobody gets what they want.
Right. And in the end, nobody gets what they need either.
It really doesn't, because there's a dictator that dictates what you get. So we have, people are saying, well, it's, this president's a dictator. That president is a socialist. That person is a communist. This, well, a dictator is someone who will dictate what you get, whether you like it or not.
Right.
One way or the other, they're right, even when they're wrong. All right. So what is capitalism? Well, capitalism is an economic system where private individuals or businesses own production and resources driven by profit. Competition fuels innovation with supply and demand, trickle-down economics, setting prices. It rewards hard work and risk-taking, but can widen inequality, which is the big buzzword now, without regulation. So it has to have some regulations. It's capitalism within boundaries is good. So just, holding on. Freedom to own property and start ventures is central, unlike socialism's collective focus.
Right.
All right. So, thoughts?
Well, so many. I mean, first of all, if you're wanting to get down to what is biblical, even aside from the economic side of things, participating in meaningful work has always been the crux of society.
Yes.
So even in the garden, Adam had a job.
Yes, he did.
Okay. It wasn't an oppressive job, but having meaningful work is part of what makes life meaningful.
Yes.
When you have socialism when there's no incentive to work, because work in itself can be its own reward, but good work is also rewarded by a good salary, or if I work hard on my house, I have a nice place to live. And so when you get into it's all collectively owned, there's no incentive.
No.
And there's no incentive for creativity. There's no incentive for innovation. So it's very simple. Okay, look around the world. What countries have produced the most innovations? Those who are the most free economically.
Yes.
Okay. And everybody enjoys the innovation. So, so it goes back to the old joke of, the person saying, down with capitalism, but they're sitting in Starbucks, with their $1,200 iPhone and their $6 coffee. So, it's an obvious contradiction.
It absolutely is. And that's where we stand, of course. But.
Right. And then go into the ideology. So, like you pointed out, a lot of things sound really good.
Sounds great.
All utopian ideologies sound good. But there are young people now who are saying, well, they just haven't done socialism right yet. No, they've tried it over and over. It never goes
How many thousands of years have they tried it?
Yeah, well, the last couple hundred, when the Marxist ideologies arose, we've seen example. One of the best books that I've ever written was called 40 Autumns.
Read?
That I've ever read.
Yes.
Thank you. That's ever written.
She didn't write it.
No, I didn't write it. Like I said, I'm going on lots of medicine here.
Yes.
One of the best books written that I happen to have read is called 40 Autumns. I just highly recommend it. And it's basically the granddaughter of someone who survived living through East Germany. So after World War II, when Germany was divided and the East Germans were put behind a wall, and they were told that the rest of the world was oppressed and that they had it so good, but they had it so bad. And, eventually, if you had your own farm, they came and took all your crops. You owned nothing. But the people at the top were living it up. They were living large.
Yeah.
See, and that's what you're always going to have because of the selfishness of humanity.
Yes.
And so where people get tripped up, I think, they'll take the book of Acts, for example, and it says where the apostles came together and they had all things in common. Well, first of all, this was a voluntary, I'm going to share what I have in common.
Yes.
This wasn't mandated. This was out of choice, that they shared all things in common with a common goal of spreading the gospel.
So so socialism is they're forcing you to make a choice to share.
Right.
Instead of a biblical stance, which is sharing for the sake of sharing.
Right. So if a group of people want to live that way in like a communal way, I think that's a great thing that we live in a free enough society. If that's what you want to do out of choice, you can do that.
Absolutely.
But not when you get the government involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was it? It was Ronald Reagan that said the scariest words ever spoken were, we're the government and we're here to help.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's move on to the biblical side of it. So the Bible doesn't explicitly back capitalism, socialism, or communism as we know them. So these are modern systems.
Right.
But
within capitalism, I would say you have free enterprise, which you have even throughout the Bible. I mean, the Proverbs 31, the woman who's, really a lot of even the women in the Bible, even though they didn't work outside the home, they were business women inside the home. Well, they worked the fields, or they had the one that was like the seller of purple. Like she worked with a certain type of fabric, and then she would sell it, or they would trade. So they were.
Capitalism was always a cornerstone of a free society.
Just simple business,
yes,
right?
Simple business. Just and capitalism is not a bad word. It is something. It's just basically bartering.
But here's the problem: there is and has been much corruption within capitalism.
Absolutely,
just as there's corruption everywhere.
Right, but capitalism seems to have worked better, than the others,
of course,
because of humanity. The fall of humanity, which is selfishness and greed and all of those things. So,
well, because there's competition.
There's competition.
Competition can be healthy. Yeah.
So the Bible praises hard work, and personal responsibility, echoing capitalism's rewards and efforts. So, communism's classless society. It sounds good to put people in on the same level, but it does never work because communism says I'm the leader, I'm the supreme leader.
Yeah,
you listen to me, and you do what you're told.
And what history bears out is that once people know that even if, because it's in human nature, and of course everyone is different, they have born with different personalities, but it's in most people's nature to want to succeed, to want to rise higher than they are. So when someone is born into a society where there's no way that you're going to rise, well, first of all, that's a frustration. And then it leads people into addiction, laziness, all sorts of things. Because what's the point? If you if you grow up, you wake up every day and there's no chance to ever change anything, then what's the point?
Right. And so, let's see, it was Acts 4, verse 34. Says early Christians, they pretty much just shared everything. So they did their thing and all of that. And that was out of a choice. They didn't have to do that. James 2, 1 through 5, don't favor the rich, help the poor. God's eyes are on the lowly. So what capitalism allows us to do is make money to help the poor and help other people come up in life if we choose to.
Yeah. Right.
But if people don't choose to, it doesn't matter if they're communism or socialism or capitalism, they're not going to do it, and it's always going to be oppressive.
And one thing that, I don't have stats in front of me, but this is repeated year after year after year. There are statistics that show that the people who typically call for socialism, call for more of these types of idealistic lifestyles it's a staggering difference, are very low givers.
Yes.
Whereas people who do make money and maybe criticize for lavish lifestyles or for whatever it is, they're more likely statistically to give more.
Absolutely.
Much more charitable giving.
Absolutely.
So the people over here, I'm not saying all people, but a lot of people talk a good talk, but they don't walk it out.
When it comes down to helping their fellow human being, they don't do it.
Right. And, we're living in a time when people serve ideologies more than they serve humanity. So, so many people, and this is all around. It's people just want to serve their ideology. They want to be right. Yeah. And they want to be.
They don't want to be taught. They don't want somebody to tell them they're wrong.
Right.
They don't want to learn.
Right.
A good conversation and a good debate with people who are open-minded. Capitalism and the Lord will most of the time come through. Now the Bible talks about, on the side of capitalism, Proverbs 13:4. We did the New Testament talking about work ethic and stuff like that, but also giving and choosing to give.
Right.
So Proverbs 13:4, the diligent soul prospers, tying to hard work and reward. So basically, the diligent soul prospers. There's also a scripture that says, if you don't work, you don't eat.
Right. That's the one I was looking up. That's 2 Thessalonians 3:10.
Yes.
Those who don't work shall not eat. That was even among the people who were sharing all things in common. They also said, you're not just going to freeload.
No freeloaders. And that's where we're at is we've got a lot of freeloaders in America that benefit from capitalism. But they're fighting against capitalism that's feeding them. So you're shooting yourself in the foot and you're basically chasing and biting your own tail and eating yourself.
Yeah.
By doing this.
Yeah.
What you need to learn to do is work.
Right.
Some people that can't work have a hard time getting assistance.
Right.
Because there's people that can work and are just freaking lazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yes,
we're
and
all
I'm not
for
and
supporting
listen,
people who
I'm
need support.
listen, I am all for people who need it, need help and stuff like that.
Sure.
But there is a certain certain line that has to be drawn,
Yeah.
because if you are constantly pulling from a source without working or putting anything in, that's called borrowing.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're going to have to pay the piper.
Right.
Eventually, you're going to have to pay something back.
Yeah, and eventually resources are going to run out.
And eventually, resources are going to come out. But even if you are on Social Security, you're on this or on that, something will have to pay back. You have to pay a price. There is nothing really free in the world. Nothing is free. So right here it says in Proverbs 22:7, the borrower becomes a slave to the lender, cautioning against debt.
Right.
So all debt is not bad.
Yeah.
But living a lifestyle of being indebted to others,
right,
and you depend, and it's part of being dependent on others, you become a slave to others.
And living beyond your means because
yes, if you live beyond your means,
or whatever the case may be.
Now emergencies happen. Things happen you have to take care of. Your car breaks down. Your house is is going up for foreclosure. You've got to do something. You have got to go out and borrow something to get keep going. I understand that.
Yeah.
But if you live below your means, a lot of times that won't happen.
Yeah.
There are and what we say here on this podcast is very broad. We generalize a lot.
Yeah.
There are specific cases that are we can't speak on because we don't know.
Well, let me tell you where my heart is, because I mean, in talking about these things, probably to a lot of our listeners, we're just preaching to the choir. I think a lot of people understand this
but
perspective.
How do we combat it?
Well, and I think going back to what I said too about people have to find meaning in their lives, and if they're just sitting around, not living up to the potential that they have in them. And I think that's one of the downsides, and I don't know the solution to that, but, everyone has a gifting and everyone has a purpose.
Right. Speaking of capitalism, the people that own the companies, if you are a boss, give your employee little bits of ownership at a time until they can take the company and run it.
Yeah.
And that gives purpose, and have a percentage system where the harder they work, the more percentage they get.
You have ownership.
And that, that's it's hard to find good workers. And right now, I think there's a 60%, from what I heard, within the past 3 or 4 years, like 60% deficit in the trades.
Oh yeah,
people
that's
not
huge.
being people not wanting to do the trades.
Well, and because of the stigma that came up, and I think that's switching. I think that's starting to shift.
Yep.
And here's another one that really is important. And I say this not just looking at how culture is run, but also as a consumer. It's so troubling to me when you have a company that's doing really well that sells, say, like natural products. So they're a great alternative to maybe other products. But then what will happen is eventually that company, maybe the owner of that company dies or whatever, the children sell it off to one of these big corporations, and then your products end up getting compromised. Whereas there's a couple of cases where owners have left the companies to their employees. And it continues with the same value and the same quality. I think Bob's Red Mill, those like natural milling products, like flour and everything, that was left to the employees, which is a great model, and it ensures that we still have quality products.
And that's where capitalism veers into socialism just a hair, because you become it's a social network where they're sharing the profit.
Yeah, but it's still basic,
capitalism.
Yeah, it's
basic
business.
capitalism. But see, that's the thing. I'm not defending anything. I'm just using common sense and historical facts to come to the conclusion that socialism does not work.
Yeah.
Communism does not work unless you like to be a slave.
Right.
because a communistic society creates slavery. It just does.
Yeah. And death. I mean, let's face it.
A lot of death.
And this is something that people don't talk about is when Joseph Stalin rose to prominence, I mean, people don't talk about how many Christians he took out and just mass murdered.
Yeah.
And so ideologies become so dangerous that people think it's okay to harm other people.
Well, right now,
That's
Nigeria, they're just killing Christians in Nigeria right now.
Right.
What are we doing?
Right. Exactly.
Why do we want the socialistic or communistic ideology in America?
Yeah, we don't.
Why do we want that?
We don't.
Because they're killing Christians, anybody who professes anything but what they believe.
And that's the danger of strong ideologies. Eventually it gets so into people's psyche that they start to justify things that they wouldn't justify normally.
Yes.
That's a good way to check yourself. It's like, wait a minute. Am I justifying something in my head that in the past I wouldn't have justified just because of an ideology?
Right.
Yeah.
Somewhere in my theology and my ideology, I'm probably wrong somewhere.
Right.
Because I don't understand everything.
That's why we remain teachable.
Remain teachable. I mean, I might as well just say it. Dearborn, Michigan, they're having a problem with Islam because they're coming in and telling everybody what to do.
Yeah.
Well, how to be right. I have never seen, in the past 50 years at least, a Christian ideology come in and do that in a way that is like this.
And without veering off into too much controversy,
I don't want to, but
we know that many of those movements, even the ones that have taken place around the world, so-called revolutions, they're generally not organic.
No.
Somebody has a deep-seated desire to bring destruction. And so they prey upon weak people to get them to buy into their ideologies.
So, I mean, I've been studying a little bit of the Quran and looking at different things. I've found nothing that is appealing in this that says we're peaceful. Everything is, if you don't believe in Islam, then you die. That's all I've seen.
Well, here's the thing. There is a stipulation within Islam that says, again, this is interesting too. This just makes you know it's just like made up. Okay. So there are a few verses in the Quran that may make it sound peaceful, but they also have a stipulation in their ideology that says whatever was written later, if it contradicts what was written earlier, we go with what's later. And the really, vitriol, let's kill the infidel stuff, comes later. So that supersedes anything that came before. It just lets you know it's wacky. I mean, anytime I look at things like that where it's like, how can you believe that this comes from a true God
Allah.
when it's contradicting itself, you know, and
I mean, evidently Muhammad had met with Gabriel or Galil or whatever his name is, what they call Gabriel, in a cave, and 635 or 650, somewhere around in there, years after the book of Revelation was written.
Yeah. And we know the Bible does say that Satan will appear as an angel of light. So people he may have been convinced that he encountered something good because evil can present itself as good and convince someone that it's good. That's why you have to know the true word of God. You have to know the living God.
Understand the
Know
Greek,
the word of God.
the Hebrew, what it really means. Yes, the Crusades from Christianity were wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong. All of that stuff, wrong.
Yeah, and in some cases, I think we also have the wrong history. Because, right, as they say, the victors write the history, So
who knows?
Yeah.
And that's the thing is we just would like to bring up these questions and bring up these thoughts because we're coming to a point in America where we're going to have to make a choice. And I think, who will you choose? Choose this day whom you will serve. Will you serve God or will you serve mammon, which is the ways of the world and other things? But the difference between Christianity saying that and Islam saying that is if you decide not to serve God, we're not going to kill you.
Exactly. That's
We're
the
not going to
difference.
take over your stuff. We're not going to protest your business because you're,
And if
doing
you
anything.
serve something that we don't like, we just won't shop there. We're not going to tell other people
Right.
what to
Now,
sell and what not to sell.
Abortion clinics, yeah, we protest abortion clinics because you're killing babies.
Because it's murder.
Because it's murder.
Yeah.
That's a totally different. There's lives at stake there.
Mm-hmm.
But these Islamists are going to businesses in Texas and saying, you can't sell this. You can't sell that. We're going to protest in front of your business. We're going to do this. That is not what we're about here in America.
Right.
It's freedom. If people want to die in sin, they got the freedom to do that. If they want to serve God, then they got to do that. If they want to become a Muslim, they've got the freedom to do that.
We have the freedom to do whatever we want to do in our own home.
That's
as long as we're not harming other human beings.
Exactly.
Can we? That's simple,
But
right?
see, Islam wants to take that away.
Right. Absolutely. Because in their minds, they believe that's
which is
what they're
like
supposed
what?
to do.
Communism.
Mm-hmm. And that's why they seem to be locking hands at times, which is crazy.
So, anyway, all right. Well, we could go a little bit deeper, but we're not going to. We tried not to go so deep.
And I'm having another. I just put a cough drop in. Yeah. So
I hope you get better.
I'm getting better.
That's good.
I'm better than I was 24 hours ago.
Absolutely.
So here we are.
So
in my pajamas. I can't believe I'm wearing. And the only reason I own Hello Kitty pajamas, it's not because I purchased them, okay? Is because his mother, bless her, I love it. Every year she gives me the most comfy, cozy pajamas.
And it's comfortable, evidently.
And
she wears it all the time.
Yeah, it's comfy. So here I am in my Hello Kitty pajamas on live YouTube. I was going to say on live national television, but
we ain't got that far yet.
No.
All right, guys, don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and also leave some comments. Yeah, good, bad, or ugly. It don't matter. This is an open discussion. You got the freedom to say whatever you want. We're in America. Woo. You can say whatever you want.
That's right.
Well, within reason. I mean, you can't make a death threat. Right. I think that's
no threats.
Or yell fire in a theater.
Auditorium.
Yeah, you can't do that. I think it's illegal.
Yeah.
I think you got a little stipulation. See,
makes
freedom.
Sense.
I mean, freedom within boundaries is still freedom.
That's right.
All right. Anyway, all right. Well, you guys have a wonderful evening. God bless you, and we pray for you, and we pray you have a wonderful day.
Don't forget to like this video, and please subscribe to our channel. Drop your comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If you prefer audio podcasts, please follow us on your favorite streaming platform.